Let's now go over to Compas on the LA beat. Gilbert, a lot of movement has happened. The Chargers have kind of been a lot louder than the Rams, I think, so far this offseason. Taking away, the playoff loss and everything. Justin Herbert posted a picture on Instagram that he had his torn labrum, and the Chargers announced it. His torn labrum in his left shoulder. He was fixed. He should be ready to go by spring ball, which happens in a couple of weeks. The Chargers hired Kellen Moore as their offensive coordinator, which I think Kellen Moore was jobless for about 15 minutes an hour
Must be
and got a
nice,
new
huh?
job. He's no Craig from Friday. How do you get fired on your day
Yeah,
off?
yeah.
No. Here he got fired and then hired.
I'm sure he got fired and then promoted too, like a
Exactly.
salary bump.
So, well, you do get promoted. You're going from Dak to Justin Herbert, so
Oh,
that's a
there you go.
promotion right there.
And you get to live in
But
LA. Sorry, Dallas area.
exactly, Gilbert, what do you make of everything that's gone on in Charger world?
What should I start with, Herbert or Kellen Moore? Because you got a lot going on.
Kellen Moore.
Yeah, yeah. You're asking me this now in the evening of we're recording on Monday, and I really like it. At first I'm like, okay, Dak Prescott didn't really develop. This offense is kind of shaky. You don't really win much in the playoffs, but it's more than that, right? Like you're coming in and you're trying to help Justin Herbert, and that's all that matters. And you want to have a good system for Justin Herbert. And I like this kind of creativity, little new age offense. And I don't know how much into analytics Kellen Moore is, but he likes to push that ball down the field. I could have chosen a different word, push that thing down. When you got the son of Odin, Dan Diego loves that. You could throw the ball down the field. That's all I care about. Like you gotta have this offense tailor made for Justin Herbert, and for some reason, that never really developed with Joe Lombardi, which is frustrating to a lot of Chargers fans. And I get, I always go back to the conversation that Joe Lombardi had with us when I was there, Fernando, where I think he completed like 70% of his passes against the Eagles, and he's like, man, it's just hard to get away from that when you're getting 5 to 10 yards at such a high rate, like almost 80%, whatever it is. And then that told me like this guy is just for some reason does not want to go away from that or push the ball down the field. And Kellen Moore won't be that problem. And then just seeing the way this offense evolved to be suited for Tony Pollard being more of a run heavy offense with Zeke, we all knew Zeke was kind of the back end of his prime, or I guess he probably left his prime. And
Yeah.
for him to adjust and make it work like that, they weren't the top scoring team in the NFL, but they were up there. 2021, they were the top team scoring in the NFL in points and yards. So it's a good system there. And the best thing, and also I mentioned on What's Up Bolts, so check out What's Up Bolts too. Subscribe is, I'm losing my point here. Oh yeah, DVOA. The nerds love that. It was top 6 in 2021. So it's a very creative offense scheme, and I'm just excited now to see what Herbert could do with an experienced play caller as well. That's another big point. 4 years with the Cowboys calling plays, and I guess there were some management blunders at the end, but that could be more of Mike McCarthy thing. That's my only concern with the hire here.
No, I completely agree, and I feel like obviously Kellen Moore, Charger fans should be excited. Kellen Moore, I know, is excited because this is live video of Kellen Moore accepting the Chargers job.
I eat more candy.
Look at that. That's Kellen Moore.
Where do you find all these clips, man? I'm not even sure if the producer knows these are coming either.
And this is Augustus Gloop. Oh, okay, for What's Up Bolts, we did the version of Augustus Gloop in the the only version that should exist of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but obviously I had to do this one. I had to do the version with Johnny Depp just for fun. But definitely I think Charger fans should be excited. Like you said, you're gonna push the football. It's gonna be different. I think Joe Lombardi for some reason kept. And you remember when Drew Brees came to us, and when he was there, he said,
"Oh yeah,
Joe Lombardi needs to tailor this offense around Justin Herbert." I didn't feel like that happened. I felt like we were still watching Drew Brees with his arm all messed up, and Justin Herbert basically throwing check downs and a lot of stuff that was like 5-yard routes, and that's not the offense that obviously the Chargers want to run. And Brandon Staley said it. He's like, we want to be a different kind of offense. We want to move the football down the field. And like we said on What's Up Bolts, Mike McCarthy in his exit interview, he praised Kellen Moore for the way he's helped Dak develop. Remember, Dak last year was an MVP candidate.
Yeah.
37 touchdowns, over 4,400 yards, and only 10 interceptions. So, and that was another thing that I give Justin Herbert kudos for this year. When missing all of his receivers and we're missing receivers and stuff like that and playmakers, he only threw 10 interceptions. That's actually pretty good for a guy that
Yeah.
had the labrum, had the ribs, and on top of that, missing these guys. I mean, 10 interceptions is not bad. So definitely, I think fans should be excited about Kellen Moore. And first of all, you guys got to give it time, let it develop. I know. I
Yeah.
remember 3 games in at Joe Lombardi, people had their
Mm.
pitchforks ready to go last year, and I'm like, oh no, actually no, it was half of the season. And because remember at the beginning they started off 4-1 or 3-1 or something like that. They beat Kansas City
No,
and
I
Kansas
still remember.
City.
I still remember there was still some
Well,
rumors
yeah, there
out
were
there.
still some, but I'm saying like everybody relax and let it develop. But what do you think about the Justin?
Yeah, let me give you one more thought
Yeah,
here
yeah,
because the funny thing with Lombardi and Herbert, a lot of people are like, "Hey, you got to pass the ball, you got to push it." Like he did pass the ball, like he called a lot of passing plays, a lot, but they weren't just down the field, which was a frustrating part. And the first year I remember with Lombardi, a lot of people were frustrated that they were just too pass heavy and they wouldn't run the football. They couldn't establish a run, and that's another big part of it. I think what Kellen Moore, he knows how to have a balance, and I think you brought up that good quote from Staley. He wants to marry both the pass and the running game, and Kellen Moore would do that. And at the same time, he will attack downfield. So you get kind of the complementary football on the offensive side, where everything's in sync. I think it's gonna be big. Now the
I
thing on
think Joe
go ahead.
Reedy, real quick, my back, real quick. Joe Reedy said the Cowboys last year were 52-48 when
That's
it
good
came
balance
to
for
the
me.
pass and the run.
Yeah, because sometimes you were throwing too much for Herbert, and then you weren't really doing much, besides the 10-yard kind of dump offs. But
Somebody asked him last year. I think it was you threw 60 times in the game. How does your
yeah,
arm feel? Ha ha ha.
he's like, I didn't throw downfield once. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
But
exactly. It was all
yeah.
little rabbit passes.
But yeah, this would be more creative and it still be kind of I shouldn't say pass heavy, but uh, when I think pass heavy, I think about pushing the ball down the field. But the numbers will still be kind of closer to 50-50. So the thing with Herbert though, my only thing is like it'll be concerning if this lingers through training camp. And you know how it is in training camp. Some guys don't show up. Like, hey, is he coming? Is he playing this week? And it starts one week, and people stop asking, and then okay, is he coming back? And then it becomes 2 months or whatever, and then out of nowhere. Uh, he just comes and shows up for week one and he's rusty. So we'll see what happens with Justin Herbert. But if he's everything they're saying, it's fine and dandy, but you can never believe what people tell you all the time. So we'll see what happens with him. But he took a beating in 2022, a bunch of injuries. Hopefully he's rested in the offseason and OTAs. I don't think OTAs, I know the Rams like to say, oh, like Stafford missed OTAs and that was big, whatever. But I think training camps where it matters. You need to have chemistry because it's gonna be some new pieces. You gotta be developed. And also, by the way, there's a new coach in Kellen Moore, so you want to be there. I think that might be the bigger part of the OTAs. But as long as you're around and you know the system, once training camp comes, you want to have everything there. So don't be too concerned, but you never know with surgeries because you see it too many times in the NFL. One guy, like the season goes bad, and then they'll tell you in October, like, yeah, that surgery really set me back. So I think it matters a little bit.
But with Matthew Stafford, it lingered throughout the whole season, right? Like everything all the hurt that he had gone through, or was it different stuff?
Well, it's everything. They take a beating with the offensive
Mm.
line. He got the spine thing. He had the concussion, and then the arm couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a different case.
Uh, obviously now, obviously I completely agree with everything you just said. I'm going to be interested to see if Brandon actually plays players this year in preseason games. That's going to be something to monitor. I'm going to be interested to see if he does that. Now jumping over to the Rams, Gilbert. They made the official of Mike LaFleur, the hiring of Mike LaFleur as the offensive coordinator. Legit, obviously. I'm wondering if McVay's going to hire a whole new coaching staff, or what do you think is going to end up happening there?
Well, the thing that I'm more curious about now because Zach Robinson, Greg Olsen, and Thomas Brown did not get this Chargers job. Do they just go back? And the one that I can't figure out is Zach Robinson. Does McVay like him? I know he likes Thomas Robinson a lot. And sorry,
Yeah,
yeah, Thomas
Thomas
Brown.
Brown.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know why I keep saying the basketball player. Thomas Brown, uh, he had an interview with the Commanders. Maybe they like him there. It sounds like he won't get the Texans job because the Miko Ryan's job to lose. So maybe Thomas Brown and Zach Robinson. That's why I'm confused. Go back. And I think Sean McVay definitely likes Brown, but I don't know about Robinson. And then Greg Olson is means a lot to Sean McVay because of those Tampa Bay years with Gruden. So I wouldn't be surprised if all three come back. But also, you're waiting on Raheem Morris. Maybe I'll ask you this question, Fernando. You think Raheem Morris should get a job with either the Colts or the Broncos?
I don't. I think I saw somewhere that they already informed him that they're not gonna. Man, the Broncos are aiming high. I don't know if we're. I don't know if we're talking about this or not, but like they had a second interview with Jim Harbaugh, but didn't Jim Harbaugh said no to them?
Yeah,
So I'm like, where's the Broncos job? And then I'm hearing that Sean Payton at the Saints want 2 first-round draft picks for Sean Payton,
that's making
and
it difficult.
I'm like, what? It like so like you're nice, like a first round draft pick. Yeah, sure, go ahead. 2 first-round draft picks, like, dude, you're what position are you gonna play on the field? Like, no, there's no way. Like, you're telling me he's worth a Jalen Ramsey? Like, no, that's how much Jalen went for 2 first-round draft picks. So my bad. I know I went off. Um, I'm interested to see with Raheem Morris because the Colts job seems to be like the one that he might be in line
Yeah,
for, and that might be his job. But I keep on hearing Jeff Saturday's name, and I'm like, don't tell me you're really gonna go with this guy. Like, and I mean, maybe Jeff Saturday could develop into the role, but I just don't think it's a smart idea for the Colts, especially. But I mean, Jim Irsay, who's gonna fire Jim Irsay? Like, nobody's gonna fire him. So, because he's the owner, so obviously, but heck, if I was a general manager and he hired Jeff Saturday, I'd quit as the damn general manager. I'd be like in draft day, I can't, Sonny, I quit, Sonny. I cannot coach a team that doesn't have a future in it. So I definitely would pull something like that, but. I think Raheem Morris might. I think they should consider him for that Colts job. Obviously, they have a good defense. DeForest Buckner, Kenny Moore. They have some very good pieces there. I would Shaquille Leonard, I think his name is.
yeah,
Um,
the new name.
yeah. I remember him as Darius.
Yeah,
But I think he should be in line for the Colts job, and I think he'll be a finalist. But I wonder if McVay wants him back as a defensive coordinator. Last year, the defense struggled for the first time, and I hadn't seen that Rams defense struggle like that in a long time. So I wonder if he wants Raheem Morris back.
I I think he does. I think they like each other a lot, and I think if you want to keep the same group, they all love Raheem Morris, like Donald, Bobby Wagner, Jalen Ramsey. The Jalen Ramsey one is tricky because he does like Raheem Morris, but will he be around? We'll find out later. But yeah, I'm just wondering too. Like if you're Thomas Brown and Zach Robinson, and you come in and Michael LaFleur got the job, and you're like, why does this guy get in and we didn't get promoted? So it's
Yeah,
going to be very interesting all around with that coaching staff. But yeah, you're right. So
I'm with
a
you.
lot more going on with the Chargers and the Rams right now.
Yeah, exactly.